Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Cartoon Soup podcast. Happy Pride. Now say happy Pride.
Happy Pride!
Today I'm doing a very crappy presentation on characters I had canon as queer. These are all cartoon characters and anime characters. Let's just get started. So you guys play along. I did put pride flags all over all these characters, so guess who they are. Mal will definitely not get all of these because a lot of them are for anime, but hey, can you guess this first one, Mal?
Those are the two. Okay, first of all, yeah, those are the guys from the fourth season of what's it called?
Infinity Train.
Infinity Train. Yes, but also I thought they were gay or queer.
So, not canonically.
Whoa, that's crazy.
They never specifically say it in the show, but Mingi and Ryan, on the left is Mingi and on the right is Ryan. I don't know why I put it the other way around. That's kind of dumb of me. But I specifically had canon Mingi on the left as gay and Ryan on the right as bisexual. Mingi is kind of a neat guy. He very much cares about his looks. He's very into self-grooming in my opinion. His hairstyle tells me he keeps up with hygiene, and that's why he's the neat homosexual to me. He's the needy one. He also cares a lot about what people think of him, which adds to that. A main theme of the story is his parents want him to go to college, and his parents want him to focus on school and on music. And so he cares too much about what his parents thinks, and that's kind of playing into the whole he cares about other people's opinions, and he also cares a lot about self-grooming. So that's why he's a homosexual to me. So let's talk about a trope that I created. I called the bubbly bisexual trope. So this is a trope that I didn't realize I was into until I was doing this slideshow. But I have this tendency to make characters like Ryan bisexual because I like this specific trope for bisexual people. To me, Ryan is what I call the bubbly bisexual. Now, I don't know if this is an actual trope, but it's a trope to me. Basically, the bubbly bi guy is someone who is bubbly, positive, a little bit dumb, or really dumb, and doesn't really care about what other people think about them. When I was first making this slideshow, 4 characters fit into this trope, but I kind of cut it down to 3. So yeah, I guess I like this kind of trope. Mal, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts on the bubbly bisexual trope?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
I don't think I have any thoughts.
No thoughts, head empty?
I don't think I have any thoughts about the bubbly bisexual. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. I also want to mention part of the reason why I put Ryan as bisexual is because he has canonically dated a woman in the show. It was mentioned in a small scene for 5 seconds in the first episode, but was never really dwelled on after that. So yeah, fun fact about that. Anyways, to me, Ryan and Mingi are dating. Literally in the first episode, Mingi gives Ryan a shirt that's basically their band merch, and Ryan gives Mingi a hug after that, a big hug. And not only that, but Mingi kind of blushes after that.
This is why I thought it This is why I thought they were just in the community because of this scene.
Because he got embarrassed about the hug and everything.
He blushed.
Yeah, and Ryan was so calm about hugging him. Obviously, let me make this clear. Normal hug your guy friends. But this was kinda in a way to me, you know? And when you hug another guy, you don't really blush, you know?
Well, I feel like there's just a difference. There's a different aura going on when two heterosexual guys hug.
Yeah. For example, they pat each other on the back, and this was just a straight, close hug. It didn't feel heterosexual to me. That's what I'm saying. Especially with the blushing. The blushing is what really got me. I also think it's very strange how in the first episode, Ryan and Mingi have a pretty big friendship breakup. Or I guess they technically don't have a friendship breakup. We never get to really see what happens after Mingi runs out on Ryan, because we just get a cut to them as adults and them going on their own separate ways. We don't really get to see the in-between, so I can't really tell if they're actually had a friendship breakup. Because later in the next episode, they talk about how they're still best friends. But one of the side characters really, you guys are best friends? You seem like mortal enemies. So there was something definitely going on there that wasn't discussed in the show. But literally during this quote-unquote friendship breakup, they have so many longing looks. It's clearly supposed to insinuate that they're missing each other, and the longing is so gay. Can I just say that?
Yes, and also I feel like there's this very tragic thing that happens sometimes in writing where someone, the writer, whoever it is, will accidentally, instead of writing this amazing friendship, will accidentally make it gay so that everyone except them are yeah, this is the subtext. And the writer's wait, what?
Yeah. So definitely, maybe they didn't do it on purpose. But in my opinion, this felt very like quoted to me. But who knows? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were genuinely just trying to make them friends. I don't know. But in my opinion, they are homosexuals. Um, Anyways, so Mal won't know this one, but guess y'all, this is one of my favorite anime. It is the entire cast of Revue Starlight. Now, you may have noticed that one of the characters I didn't put a flag on, it's the purple-haired one, or like the purple-bluish-haired one that's next to the purple and yellow-haired one. There are a lot of them, I know. But the reason I didn't put a flag on to them is because in the show, they are actually like canonically queer. Like, here's the thing I will say about this show is it feels a bit queerbaity at times, and that's because like we have one canonical queer character, but they don't get with anyone, and all the other characters are supposed to have these like relationships, but they're never really like go all the way with the relationships, which could be a problem. So Revue started as an anime where a bunch of girls have a musical fight club where in the end one of them will become a top star and have their greatest desire granted. Unknown to them, it comes at a price. It's basically a musical version of Revolutionary Go Utena, and it shows its inspiration on its sleeve. So I also want to mention that due to the fact that this is such a big cast, I don't have like super concrete sexualities for all of them, but I do headcanon them as all queer because they all have a pairing in this show. My favorite pairing, and I think everyone's favorite pairing, is between Maya Tendo and Claudine Saijo. I think that's how you pronounce her name. In the original series, Maya was pretty much seen as the perfect girl who was the hardest to defeat, and while that's revealed to be kind of not entirely true at the end, I still think seeing her as a girl who's strong and prideful and who keeps fighting no matter what does still fit with her character. Throughout the original anime, Maya has a rivalry with a girl named Claudine, and Maya has a monologue about how Claudine tries her best but is unable to beat her. Their relationship is so strong, and at times it's more compelling than the actual main relationship. The movie gets even like more queer though, because in that one, Claudine and Maya have a fight and talk about how they both are able to push themselves further because they have rivals like each other. It's basically rivals to lovers, which honestly, in my opinion, is a lot better than enemies to lovers, but still very similar. Love their relationship. Also, the main character, the one in the first slide with the brown hair, to me is another bubbly bisexual. So, anyways, next up, now you can guess this one. I know you have this one.
Oh, Shouty! Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. But one of the main characters from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yes. So Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, and I will say the brother is a heterosexual. I will go back on that later. I should probably mention that I haven't finished the entire story of Fullmetal Alchemist. I watched the anime when I was a kid, and I finished all through that, but I don't remember that much of it. And I'm halfway through the manga currently, so take whatever I say with me knowing that I don't know everything about this manga.
So I have a question, and that question is, do you remember his girlfriend?
Yes, so I will talk about that
Oh, okay,
as well.
Okay, I'm thinking beard. Continue.
So you're wondering why I headcanon this guy as homosexual when canonically he is straight, and that's for the simple reason he's short. So something I realized is that there's something like inherently very queer about being short. In fact, I'm asking you, the audience, please make a video essay called The Inherent Queerness of Being Short. I want to see this video essay so badly. Anyways, I think his shortness being connected to his queerness is even more intrinsic when you consider that Edward is also kind of ashamed for being short and will get mad at people for calling him short. Almost like he's compensating for something, like his queerness. Yes, I am saying that here Edward Elric has internalized homophobia, and part of that has to do with how short he is, but it's okay. I'm sure I'll come to terms with that eventually. I also do know he eventually gets with the mechanic, but beard situation, it's okay. He'll figure himself out eventually. As for Alphonse, the brother, I think he's straight. First of all, he's taller than Edward, so obviously he's straight. He also gives me like straight white guy who's also like kind of a skinny queen. He seems like he needs to eat more, and that's my thought on those two.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So does the height situation, does it just have to do with men, or is this also translated to women, or how does that work?
I didn't think about that. In my opinion, it matters most when it comes to men, but like it makes sense for women too, you know? I feel like most men are very ashamed about the fact they're short, so I think it like the contrast between that really makes it special. But I can definitely see it happening with women too.
So would you say in this fictional universe we're living in, would you say that maybe the inverse is true for women? So like if they're taller, maybe there's a closer connection to queerness than if they're shorter?
I think I would say that. Yes, I think I would say that. Tall girls are queer, and short kings are also queer.
Oh, they're all gay. No, if you're a woman, you're gay. That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I think you might have misheard me. I said tall girls.
Wait, what about short girls?
Short girls can be too, but it's not as special.
Right. And you're so right. And actually, guys, I have something to tell you. I am actually straight, and I was lying this whole time.
Yeah, so Mal and I are both very short. But hey, it's okay. I actually like being short, and I'm not sure about Mal, but I think you've come to terms with that as well.
I have. I left high school, and then suddenly I didn't care anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, next one. So Mal, you will obviously get this one.
Yes! Raven and Starfire from Teen Titans.
Yes.
I know my homosexual woman.
Yes, I think you do. Okay, so I know the main romance in Teen Titans is between Starfire and Robin, but I think there's something obviously very queer about like a bubbly bisexual that is Starfire and a mean lesbian who's kind of emo and a bit mean like Raven. I mean, the opposite aesthetic thing is so queer and the way that they contrast, and I feel like a lot of cartoons will make like queer women in queer relationships have opposite aesthetics. For example, and this is the main one, Princess Bubblegum and Marceline from Adventure Time. I also think in a lot of woman-loving woman relationships, they make the one character have light hair while the other one has dark hair, which I think could be a bit problematic now that I think about it. I don't think this is a real problem in this show though, because like first of all, Starfire kind of gives like POC vibes, and Raven is also very pale, so like it's kind of opposite than what the way it usually is. Though I still do see why that can be a problem.
Can I make a counter offer?
Yes.
So for Starfire, you say bubbly bisexual, I raise you. What if she's a high femme lesbian?
I did not think about that.
And let me also say this. People would then say, what about Robin? And I would also say, she's an alien. This is a new environment for her. What if she's just like figuring herself out and Robin is just a part of that journey? There are such things as lesbians who have had past experiences with men.
Okay, I will say this. When I was thinking about her being like a bubbly bisexual, I was not thinking about Robin at all. Men do not matter to me. I was just thinking about her and her personality. But she could be a lesbian too, you know? Just because she's been with a man doesn't make her any less of a lesbian.
Yeah, I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yes. But interesting discussion. Next one. You won't get this one. Get ready to scream, cry, and vomit. It's Ayane Yano from Kimi no Todoke, so some content warnings to watch out for. A student-teacher relationship only a little bit, and abuse only a little bit as well. So get ready to be pissed. Kimi no Todoke is a romance manga and anime from the mid-2000s. The main romance isn't really what's going to be discussed here since we're focusing on a side character whose besties with the main character. So one of the main character quirks we learn about Ayane is that she's dated somewhat but pretty much has never really felt satisfied emotionally in a relationship and has pretty much only dated like shitty men. She says that she's never been in love before and like stuff like that. She was even like hit by one of those boyfriends physically, and like that's a whole nother discussion, but like point is she dates shitty men. She talks about how she wonders if she'll ever be able to fall in love, and she even is said to quote, "I've been dating guys out of sympathy," meaning she's only been dating the guys who ask her out because she feels bad for them. And at this time I want to like pat her on the shoulder and be like, it's okay, you don't need to fall in love. You can be emotionally satisfied without a relationship, a romantic one. Asexuality exists. So anyways, during the time that Ayane is wondering if she'll ever fall in love, she ends up getting a love interest who I honestly don't care to go into. All you need to know about him is that I think Ayane told him that she's never been in love before. So what happens is he asks her out, and it's like, even if you haven't fallen in love with anyone before, fall in love with me. You can do it very slowly. It doesn't have to be right away. You can slowly fall in love with me. And I was like, okay, they didn't make her asexual. I didn't think that was going to happen because it's a manga from the mid-2000s, so I wasn't really expecting much. And I was like, okay, sure, they're in a relationship. It can't get worse than this. So anyway, they break up, and it does get worse after they break up. I don't remember exactly why they break up. I think it's because they both wanted to go to different colleges, and like the love interest, the guy love interest, realized that Ayane wasn't really committed to the relationship emotionally as much as he was. So they break up, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense. The relationship wasn't really working. Like the whole trying to force yourself to fall in love with someone is kind of bad. So I'm glad that they broke up. So after the breakup, I was like, this is a kind of old manga from the mid-2000s. The chances of the writer making her like asexual is basically 0 to none, right? But man, did I hope and pray they would. Anyway, she falls in love with the teacher, only to be rejected by her teacher. Her storyline ends with, I may have been rejected by my teacher, but at least I fell in love. And that's it. Isn't that a sweet story?
What the fuck?
Yep, literally her plotline ends with her getting rejected by her teacher, and she's like, "Well, I got rejected, but he broke my heart, but at least I fell in love."
That is the worst. Oh my god, what the
Like,
what the
even
fuck?
like putting her in an actual relationship would have been multiple times better than this.
Genuinely crazy. Genuine. Okay, wait. She was dating people around her age the whole time before, right?
Yes, yes. And then
And
she falls
then
in love with her teacher.
that's crazy. You know, sometimes people make decisions and it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. Because, you know, I am someone and everyone else should also be. But I am somebody who believes that like you should always read into things and you should like try and figure out what an author or an artist is trying to say with their work. And I'm trying to figure out what's trying to be said here, right? Which
Yeah.
is I can't fall in love with someone my age. I should fall in love with someone who is not only older than me, but has this huge power over me.
Well, let me make this clear that teacher's very much like this is a no-go. But the whole like thing in the beginning where like she fell in love with him in the first place
Exactly.
was weird.
Exactly. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And I wish I could tell you where her storyline ends. I don't really remember that much of the manga. All I know is that after that she's like, okay, I'm just gonna move on with my life. And I think that's pretty much what happens until they graduate from school.
That's crazy. I'm glad I really minimize the amount of manga and anime I consume. No offense to the community. I just feel like there are a lot of duds.
That is very true. But anyways, we should move on. So this one you won't get, Mal. It's another anime. Oh, and also, I was gonna make the one with horns a bubbly bisexual by deciding to make her a lesbian. But it's Yuko and Momo from the Demon Girl Next Door. If I remember correctly, Momo is the one on the left with the pink hair, and Yuko is the one on the right with the red hair. So we follow Yuko in modern day Japan when one day she wakes up to find herself having demon horns and a demon tail, and finds out that she's a demon and must collect blood from a magical girl in order to lift a curse upon her family. Let me make this clear. This is like a slice of life comedy series. It's not that serious. So this is also one of those series where like opposites attract. The two have opposite aesthetics, except it's more interesting. One of the smaller themes in the series is that Momo is a magical girl who is more devilish and would fit more as a demon, and Yuko is a demon who's more on the pure side and would fit more as a magical girl, and I think that dichotomy is very queer. I also think the relationship is very cute. At first they're somewhat rivals, but they quickly become friends who pretend to be rivals, and I think it's very fun. It's also kind of like they're role-playing rivals, which is very silly. The series could be seen as a bit queerbaity as well, but I still like it despite that. The relationship between Momo and Yuko is so good, and the story is pretty interesting too, even though it's supposed to be a comedy series. It does have some serious moments, which I do like. Okay, next one. Do you know this one as well, Mel?
Yes, I don't exactly remember their name, but also, okay, this is another one of those situations where it is so prevalent to the point where it doesn't feel like subtext, it just feels like the text.
Yes. But do you remember where this person is from?
It's season 2 from Infinity Train.
Yes, this is Lake from Infinity Train. So I had canon Lake from Infinity Train as non-binary. I feel like Lake's entire season is one big metaphor for transness. So I don't remember the exact definitions from the series, but I'm going to try to define what Lake is as a person, not like gender-wise, but like literally. Lake is kind of like a mirror person, someone whose job it is to reflect someone's image for their entire life, but Lake doesn't want to be a reflection and ends up running away from the mirror world and ends up getting chased by the enforcers of the mirror world because Lake doesn't want to be a reflection. To me, it seems like a big metaphor for the way like trans people are policed for not fitting to the gender binary. We also have to consider Lake's name. Throughout seasons 1 and 2, Lake doesn't have a name. They call themselves MT or Mirror Tulip because Tulip was the person they were reflected. Once they're free, they decide to call themselves Lake, and Lake is such a like NB coded name. I love Lake so much. I mean, Mao, don't you agree? Lake is such an NB coded name.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume yes.
You're gonna assume yes.
Yes.
I mean, like, I feel like it's very common for, like, non-binary people to call themselves, like, items.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Let's move on to the next one. You don't know this one either, but it is Homura from Madoka Magica. So I don't want to spoil the series, but this is an old anime, so if you haven't watched it yet, that's on you. So Homura is my toxic Yuri pick for this episode. In this dark magical girl anime, Homura becomes obsessed with this girl called Madoka, who dies, so Homura makes a wish to go back in time in order to save Madoka. Homura becomes unhealthily obsessed with Madoka, so Madoka makes a wish that makes her a god that is no longer able to connect with the regular world. Homura obviously becomes a little sad, Homura at the end of the series decides to keep fighting on, however, for Madoka's sake. Then comes the sequel movie, Rebellion. The movie is where Homura finally realizes she's gone back in time so many times for Madoka because she's in love with Madoka. This allows her to betray Madoka's wishes by splitting Madoka into two and dragging her human half back down to Earth where Homura can have her. Homura became so obsessed with the woman that she betrayed God and became a demon, and I love it so much. And I know a lot of people don't like the way they wrote Homura in the Rebellion movie, but honestly, this character arc of her realizing that she's in love with Madoka and that allowing her to like gain power over the world is so good. The movie is basically Homura realizing she's low-key like a bad person and reveling in that realization, and I think it's very good. I love it so much. And there's a new movie coming out, and I'm really excited for that as well. Okay, next slide. So this one you know as well, and this is the whole reason I started this slide. Do you want to mention who it is? They don't have a concrete name, but you can just say from what series they're from.
Okay, right. So this series is called the one with the rocks.
It's called Dreamcatchers.
My
So
rock
it's-
character.
Yes, Maliv's the rock character from Dreamcatchers that showed up in the finale, but only for a second. So my pick is Lucid Dreamer from Dreamcatchers. So this is the character that originally inspired me to make this episode. I had canned this character as NB or non-binary, I guess. And as it turns out, this character is actually a they them, and it's been said by the creators. This takes place in a world where people can enter the dreams of others, and we follow our main character, Star and TV, entering into people's dreams and trying to fix their problems. So first, let's talk about why I think the Lucid Dreamer is non-binary. In the story, when the Lucid Dreamer is asked about their name, they kind of glitch out and refuse to say their name. This is telling me that maybe the Lucid Dreamer has a name that doesn't quite fit with their identity, or maybe they're just not comfortable with this name. There's also a scene where they're first introduced where Star says their world has changed so much, and the Lucid Dreamer kind of freaks out, basically saying, "What's wrong with my world?" Maybe hinting at them like transitioning has been poorly taken by those around them. I'm telling y'all, this they them will come back in the story, and the main plotline will be about them being a they them. So I'm just headcaning that now. I'm excited to see that in the future of Dreamcatchers. But anyways, that's my slideshow. Anyways, go read a book now or something. Please read. I'm begging you.
Recommend them a book, Marco. What the frick?
You know what you should read? God, what's a book they should read? Let me look at my bookshelf. You recommend a book too.
I recommend a book. Uh-oh.
I recommend Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite. This is a novella sci-fi mystery series where we follow a main character who's on this ship that's traveling somewhere, and on this ship people can die and like get revived by storing their memories. So we follow someone who gets revived because their memories have been restored because they were in storage when they find out that someone has actually died in the ship, and then they'll figure out how this person died when it should be technically impossible for someone to die. Really interesting series. I'm about to read book 2. Really excited to read it.
The thing that I'm going to recommend is, let's go with a middle grade novel, Ghost Scouts Honor by Carrie hyphen last name Slay Blankenship Kramer. It's about this girl, this little middle schooler girl. She has anger issues, and I think she has also, what's it called, ADHD or maybe dyslexia, I don't remember, but she has something and she's having a really tough time at it. But then she joins like sort of this ghost busting team in town that's supposed to like capture ghosts that are being mischievous, but then they realize, oh no, maybe the ghosts aren't the bad guys, and then they save the town. And also she has a crush on a girl, so.
And I will say mine is also, I think it's a lesbian romance, though it's very slow burn so far. I don't know when they're going to actually get to the part where they're dating, but so far it hasn't happened in the first book, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen in the second book.
Oh my god, wait. Actually, I think this is, oh my god, guys, I think this is what you would consider a rivals to, I don't want to say lovers, they're middle schoolers. Rivals.
Rivals to dating?
Yeah, rivals to dating. Yeah. So if you're into that.
Okay. That's exciting. But anyways, y'all, that's my presentation. We have social medias in the description. We have a gaming channel. Check that out. Don't let your brains become soup. Goodbye.